Last time we learned how computers communicate through networks and the internet. In this lesson, we're going to look at the other side of that conversation, how we can protect computers and the information they contain. Every day, people rely on technology for banking and shopping and healthcare, and because so much valuable information is stored digitally, cybersecurity has become one of the fastest growing areas of computing. Our goals for this unit are basically four things. What is cybersecurity and why it matters? 2, security goals. 3, cyber threats. And 4, how organizations protect systems. Don't worry about memorizing every term immediately. Instead, just focus on understanding the big ideas. By the end of this lesson, you should recognize the common security technologies you probably already encountered, like encryption and firewalls and antivirus, and understand what each one of those does. So if computers can communicate across networks and the internet, how do we protect them from attackers? Think back to our networking unit. Networks allow computers to communicate, but if computers can communicate with legitimate users, they can also communicate with attackers. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Networking allows communication. Cybersecurity protects that communication. So we're going to start with part 1, understanding a threat. What organizations are trying to protect and what they're protecting against. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting computers, networks, programs, and data from digital attack, damage, or unauthorized access. It's much more than just stopping hackers. It involves protecting computers and networks and software and information. Think about how many organizations rely on computers, banks, schools, and hospitals. If their systems stop working, the consequences can be serious. Cybercrime costs organizations billions of dollars every year. Some criminals want money. Sometimes they want personal information. Sometimes they just want to disrupt services. So if someone stole your laptop or your cell phone today, what information would concern you most? Your passwords, photos, schoolwork? What information would somebody want to steal from you? So this is probably the most important concept in the entire unit. Nearly every security technology exists to support one or more of these three goals: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Whenever you hear about a cyber attack, ask yourself, which of these three goals was affected? The first is confidentiality. This simply means keeping information private. Only authorized people should be able to view sensitive information, such as grades or credit card numbers. Passwords, encryption, and access control all help protect confidentiality. So would you want everyone on campus to be able to see your grades or your credit card information? The next one is integrity. This means information stays accurate. Imagine someone changes your bank balance from $500 to $5. Nothing was stolen, but the information was changed. That's an integrity problem. Sometimes changing information can be more damaging than stealing it. And the next one is availability, which means systems are working when people need them to. Imagine Canvas crashes during finals week, or a hospital loses access to patient records, or an airline system goes offline. No data was stolen, but the service just isn't available anymore. So let's look at these three terms: threat, vulnerability, and risk. A threat is something that could cause harm. A vulnerability is a weakness, and a risk is what happens when a threat can exploit a vulnerability. So think of a house. An unlocked front door is a vulnerability. A burglar is the threat, and the possibility of being robbed is the risk. So let's look at some common cyber threats. So malware is software that is designed to disrupt, harm, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. And there are several types of malware. Ransomware locks or encrypts files and demands payment to restore access. Viruses attach itself to a file or a program and spreads when that file is open or shared. A worm is spread automatically across networks without needing the user to take action. And a Trojan horse is disguised as legitimate software that tricks users into installing it. An insider threat. This is a security risk caused by someone within an organization, either intentionally or accidentally. And denial of service. This overwhelms a system until legitimate users can't access it. So we'll come back to ransomware. This has become one of the most common and damaging cyber threats facing individuals, businesses, and government agencies worldwide. It encrypts files so they can't be opened. Then criminals demand money to restore access. And even if a victim pays, there's no guarantees the file will ever be recovered. This is an important reason to back up and why they're so important. A denial of service attack doesn't usually steal information. Instead, a server becomes overwhelmed by too many requests. Imagine trying to enter a building through one doorway while thousands of people all rush toward it at the same time. Eventually, nobody gets through. The point of a denial of service attack is to stop legitimate users from accessing services, which can cause significant downtime, lost revenue, and reputational damage. Again, you don't need to memorize all of these threats. Instead, they all have the same goal. Some steal information, some damage files, or secretly monitor activity, or spread automatically, or pretend to be legitimate software. And some seek to deny access to a system. So this image highlights a significant disconnect between actual causes of cyber incidents and the topics emphasized by academic research, media coverage, and online searches. So while system intrusion and social engineering account for nearly 60% of recorded breaches, public attention is often directed towards other cyber threats. And this potentially leaves individuals and organizations less prepared for the risk that they're most likely to encounter. We're going to be talking about social engineering in the next unit. So who is carrying out all of these attacks? Well, freaks are early technology enthusiasts who manipulated telephone systems to make freak calls or explore how phone networks worked. They were also called phone freaks. They were considered predecessors to the modern hacker. A hacker are individuals who use technical skill to understand, modify, or actually improve computer systems. Many hackers work legally as cybersecurity professionals to identify and fix security weaknesses. They're called ethical hackers or white hat hackers. Crackers are individuals who illegally break into systems or software to steal data, cause damage, or bypass security protection. The term distinguishes malicious attackers, also called black hat hackers, from ethical hackers or white hat hackers. Now, script kiddies are inexperienced attackers who use hacking tools with scripts created by other people without fully understanding how they work. And their attacks are usually opportunistic rather than sophisticated. Now we see directed attackers deliberately target a specific organization. They often spend time researching the target and tailoring their attacks. Undirected attackers, on the other hand, cast a wide net by scanning the internet or sending mass phishing emails, hoping to find vulnerable victims. And then you have hacktivists. These are individuals or groups who conduct cyber attacks to promote a political, social, or ideological cause. Their goals often include disrupting services, spreading messages, or exposing information. On a historical note, the Hacker Manifesto is an essay written in 1986. It doesn't define what hacking is today, but it gives us historical insight into how some early hackers viewed themselves as curious learners rather than criminals. So far, we've looked at what attackers do and the kinds of threats that organizations face. The next question is, how do organizations defend themselves? And while no security measure is perfect, several technologies and practices work together to reduce risk. So let's look at several common security controls. The first is authentication and authorization. Authentication answers, who are you? Authorization answers, what are you allowed to do? So logging into Canvas proves your identity, and being an instructor instead of a student determines which features you can access. The next security control is encryption. Encryption scrambles information so only authorized people can read it. You're already using encryption every day when you log into your bank or buy something online or send secure messages. Encryption is protecting your information as it travels across the internet. Another security control is a firewall. A firewall filters network traffic. It acts like a security guard. Not every request should be allowed into a network. The firewall examines incoming and outgoing traffic and decides what should be allowed through. Now, it doesn't stop every attack, but it forms an important layer of defense. Two additional security controls are antivirus and endpoint protection. Antivirus software searches for malicious software and removes it. Device or endpoint protection is a more advanced security system that protects an entire device from a lot of threats. Every computer connected to a company's network is called an endpoint, and that includes employees' laptops, desktops, tablets, and even some phones. Organizations install endpoint protection software in these devices to detect malware, block suspicious activity, and help stop cyber attacks before they spread. So antivirus is like a doctor who treats illnesses after you become sick, and device or endpoint protection is like having a doctor, a security guard, and an alarm system all working together to keep you safe and healthy. If I could emphasize only one cybersecurity habit, it would be backups. Computers fail, hard drives die, people delete files, and ransomware encrypts data. Backups allow you to recover. There's a saying, if your data only exists in one place, it doesn't really exist. So organizations don't wait until something bad happens. They prepare ahead of time. A typical response would look like this. First, prepare. You develop plans, tools, and training before an incident occurs. Number two, detect and analyze. Identifying incidents and determine what happened. The third step is to contain. Limit the attack to prevent further damage. The fourth is to eradicate. Remove the cause of the incidents from the affected systems. And the fifth is to recover. Restore systems and return to normal operations. After every incident, organizations ask, what can we do better next time? How can we stop this from happening again? Cybersecurity isn't just one job. There are many different career paths. Some professionals investigate attacks, others build secure software, some test systems by trying to break into them ethically, and some analyze digital evidence after an attack. Cybersecurity continues to be one of the fastest growing career fields in information technology. So the key takeaways from this presentation: is that cybersecurity is not just an IT responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. Every secure decision you make helps protect yourself, your organization, and others.